Hello. This is, I think, the third class. So in this particular presentation, we deal about these three basic concepts here. So the first thing we need to deal is one norm of a given matrix here. So basically, this matrix is n by n matrix, which means that our matrix which is n by n matrix. Let's say. Let's say here this is so-called the matrix. So our matrix A is equivalent to n by n matrix, which is n by n matrix. So this n is maybe 3 by 3 matrix. Just we start in 3 by 3 matrix, or it may be any matrix, any square matrix, which is 5 by 5 matrix, 5 by 5 matrix. It doesn't matter, by the way. So which is our target is to find the square matrix here. So here this is so-called our B matrix. So our B matrix is n by n matrix. In this case we need the one norm of this matrix. So computing the one norm in a numerical way is, let's say, our A matrix, or which is equivalent to our B matrix, is equivalent to, let's say, here, which is A1 2 by 2 matrix. Let's say B11, and B12, B12. Here I have B21, and B22. Let's say this is our matrix. So we need to find the one norm of this given matrix, which is norm of B. Norm of B1 is basically computed in such a way. So the maximum of the max of the magnitude of the B11 plus the max of the magnitude of B12 again, plus the max of so-called the max of B21, the magnitude of B21 plus and the magnitude of the B22. So this is the way how which is computed in a manual way. So basically when the size of the matrix is increased, computing such ways such a big sized matrix is very tedious. So in order to eradicate such a case, we need to use the Matlab code. So in a Matlab code, it is a very simple. So for this matter, we have only 2 by 2 matrix. So this our matrix size is so-called 2 by 2. So in a case of 3 by 3 matrix, or 4 by 4 matrix, or 5 by 5 matrix, it's very complicated. So let's start how we're gonna see we will compute such kind of matrix in a very simple way. So let's start in a Matlab algorithm. So first of all, you have to open your Matlab workspace. So here, this is my Matlab, which is the 2019 B version. So here I tried to this case previously. So now I have to remove this workspace here. You see here. By the way, it is a very important thing. The first thing you have to know in a Matlab is, just if you are previously using different types of works in your workspace in a command window, how to remove those previously worked command items. So for that case, we simply write clc, so which means that clear the command window as a beginning one. So we have to write here clc, which is completely removed. So once you see clc, then enter to display. So now I need to write matrix D is equivalent to which is the D matrix, which is equivalent to so-called a symmetry of sine, then open bracket, then I have here this sign, and then I wanted to write D matrix here, D matrix, then this square, I mean this percentage sign, then so-called again D, which is a dimension, and also I have to write D here. So this is D, then separate those, then I need to open the size of the matrix. I need a 5 by 5 matrix here, so which is closed in such a way here. So this is basically so-called the matrix side. So previously I opened here, so now I have to close it now here. So this is the way how to write the one norm of a given matrix. So for this case, this particular system, particular algorithm will display 5 by 5 matrices. In this case, it will display 5 by 5 matrix. Let's enter here. So it is 5 by 5 matrix. Look here. So D11 up to D55. This D11, D22, D33, D44 are so-called diagonal matrices here. So here we have D11, D12, D13 up to D15, which is our row matrices, and D11, D21 up to D51 are our column matrices here. So in that manner, which is so-called the D matrix are displayed in such a way. So our target is in order to find the so-called the norm of 1. So now we need to write so-called n is equivalent to just n is less n, which is equivalent to norm of, because norm of D matrix, norm of D matrix, our matrix is since D, so norm of D matrix, norm of D matrix, one norm of D matrix, one norm of D matrix is equivalent to this mechanism is basically compute this point. Look here. So one norm of D matrix, one norm of D matrix, our D is 5 by 5 matrix. So one norm of D matrix means the maximum of D11 plus D12 plus D13 plus D23 plus, I mean D31 plus D41 plus D51 plus D25, I mean D52 plus, and up to D55 entity matrices. So it takes a very long time in order to compute in a hand. So to eradicate such a way, we need a Matlab program in order to compute this one norm of D and infinity norm of D. So for that case, this our Matlab will display in a very simple way. Norm of D11 will display this way. So look here. So this is a very long look. Norm of the absolute value. This ABS is the absolute value, by the way. This is norm of the absolute value. Norm of the absolute value. This, when you are working in the so-called the live editor, it will represent in absolute form, but in a command window it will display for you in such a way. So in this case, let me maximize the size. So let's say so the absolute value, the maximum of the absolute value of D11, which is D11 here, plus the absolute value of so-called D21 here, plus the absolute value of D31 here, plus the absolute value of D41 here, D41, plus look, this D41, plus again the absolute value of the D51. So together the Matlab will compute the cumulative of the one norm of D here, one norm of D here. So let's say our matrix is start with an example. So a given matrix A is equivalent to our matrix is 5 by 5 matrix. Let's say 1 2 3 4 0, no, which is here. So again that 1 2 3 4 5, now 5 6 9 6 1, so which is which is again 5. Have 3 more here, 0 0 1 1, no, and I have 3, I have 5 0 0 11 3 and 5, so I will supply it here, so which is 3. Now I have 2 more, 5 6 9 7 4. I have to separate here again, 8 9 0 1 2. I have here, look here, which is 1 2 3 4 5, which is let's check your entity, the entity of the matrix. It may be here I have 5, look here also 5, this also 5, this also 5, this also 5. So I have to close the bracket here, close the bracket. This is a 5 by 5 matrix. Let's insert, which is 5 by 5 matrix here. So my target is finding the norm of this. So let's say capital N is small n, this small n is equivalent to the norm of open the bracket, norm of A, capital A, then one norm of this 5 by 5 matrix will display for you the max of this. Okay, this is the maximum, the max of this given matrix. So when you compute these all terms together, and you will find this form. So this is a very simple way in order to find the max. The another thing you need to use in here is, this is, by the way, a very simple and tricky way to find the matrix. So you have to sum up to absolute value of the d55 here. So according to the first instruction that I'm going to share to all of you. So this is a simple and a very precise way in order to find the one norm of the matrix. Now I need to find the same in the same manner. N is equivalent to, let's say n is equivalent to the infinity of this norm. So n is equivalent to norm of open the bracket, open the bracket here, norm of A, norm of cap A, then comma, then in. Just close it, and in indicated that the infinity of norm, the infinity norm of the matrix A. A is our 5 by 5 matrix. So the infinity norm of this is very simple. So I will share that in the next presentation, because we need to find first the norm of one norm. So there is another way in order to put the algorithm form here. So here is one norm. So one norm, you have to write such kind of algorithm loop. So here this is the comment one, as you can see, which is, so there's a like is my name, which is, let's say you have to write your name in here to comment the matrix. So the target is to find the user-friendly program to compute the norm of matrix B. So first of all, B is the matrix, so input the enter the size of the matrix here. So B is equivalent to enter the matrix size here, and then you have to comment, then you have to put the size of the matrix here also, and then you have to comment here. So then enter loop. So this is a loop, the loop form. So for J is equivalent to 1 separately D, then the zeros of S in here, and then int. Then you have to start another loop for J is equivalent to 1, comma D. The iteration is from the first row up to C, which is a comment. So you have to put your comment in such a way, and then after you have to rewrite again the form here. So here B is also it's written in such a way. So this B I J, ij is the row, and this is a column J. I is the row, J is column. So the absolute value of the B matrix ij, which is basically I try to mention in here, so which is the absolute value. So come to here, the absolute of B1 Bij, and here I1j is equal to A1j, which is basically which represented that the norm of one matrix. So finally you put this thing and you have to end, then you have to display the maximum of A. So by entering the maximum of A, which gives you the matrix, then after you have to write that matrix and you have to put the simulation. So when you enter run in here, which asks you in order to simulate to enter the size of the matrix. So one is you complete your command with the code, and then it goes to run, and it asks you to enter the matrix size. You have to enter the size of matrix. It may be 2x2 matrix, or it may be 3x3 matrix, or 4x4 matrix. Any matrix that capability to do that matrix. Find the one infinity, I mean the one norm of a given matrix, what you enter for that particular case. So this is how we find the one norm of a given matrix. So this is all about that. So we need to find that. So let's say around this through this path, it asks you, yeah. So now it asks you to enter the matrix. So we have to open here the matrix. I need this 1 2 3. No, just I will take a 2x2 matrix. Let's 2x2 matrix, or let me take the above matrix where I 5x5 matrix. Let's say this matrix. Which one? This matrix. Yeah, I wanted to put this matrix. Copy, and then I will paste in here. Copy and paste in here. So the same result, by the way. In the above, the one norm of the given form, we got 32. Now we will run this. Also, we will find the same form 32. So now, after once you enter the matrix, our matrix size is 5x5 matrix. Now enter, you will get 32. Have you seen this? This is 32. This 32. It is the one norm of the matrix B. The one norm of the matrix B is 32 here. So this and this is very equivalent. So one is you got this matrix here. Okay, let me resize and I will show you again here. So basically in the two forms, in two ways, your result is the same. So basically you find here 32 after entering the one norm of A, comma 1, which reads as which refers as one norm of A. So one norm of A is 32 in the above example. The same is true when you write the algorithm in such a way and it asks you to enter the Matlab, I mean the matrix size. Once you enter the size of the matrix in here, it will calculate for you 32. So 32 is equivalent to 32 here. In both cases we need. So in your implementation, you have two options. Once you have to use this way, or you have to write such kind of loop. loop algorithm. So two ways are very